Absolutely beautiful day, which is sort of a bit mind-boggling when you looked at the forecast from as little as 3-4 days ago. It is beautiful here, if a bit chilly, and as you can see, it is Pirelli World Challenge time. It's all part of the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Road America, presented by VP Racing Fuels. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Calvin Fish. Jeff Lepper will be down in the pits, and you see a look at the cars. That means it's GTS championship time, round 10 of the championship about to unfold. Great to have you with us here on our global web stream. Do want to remind you, as always, you're going to be eavesdropping as we build our CBS Sports Network show, which will air next Wednesday, not this coming Wednesday, but the following. So you might want to check that out. But that means you may, on occasion, just hear us laying out for a while we're talking to producers and the like. We'll try and ride the audio a little bit so you can enjoy some car noise. But you're just kind of eavesdropping as we build this show. Huge crowd on hand on this big weekend, all part of the Kohler Grand Prix, IndyCar racing, but also Pirelli World Challenge GT action has run already. And this is the final event of this beautiful weekend, and the crowd sticking around for it. We had a great race here in the 9th round of the championship, and they know what's coming and looking forward to this one, Cal, as we are.
Yeah, it's going to be spectacular because everyone learns from day one. They've got a fresh set of Pirelli P0s on their cars right now. It's a standing start for these GTS machines, and a lot on the line. Lawson Oschenbach has a considerable lead in the championship with another podium run yesterday. He's only been off the podium once this year, so he keeps doing what he does best in terms of lining himself up for another championship, yet to get victory this year, which is remarkable.
Yeah, and they really would like to be the team and the driver that gets that Camaro GT4, its first win in international competition. Once again, what we're seeing, though, is that ANSA Motorsports team and that Crossbow, they seem to find these one-off rocket ship young drivers to come in and do it. You think of what Nico Jamin did at VIR, and now Austin Versteeg in this number 13 on pole.
Yeah, he put together a great race yesterday. Faded a little bit in the early going, just getting used to that answer. It takes a lot longer because it's lighter to get some temperature into those Pirelli P0s. But end of the race, he was coming on gangbusters and laid down the fastest lap of the race, which gives him pole position today. So he will have learned. He'll know how to try and generate a bit more tire temp into that car as best he can on these formation laps and just get things heated up a bit quicker.
And we just heard in an interview with him that this is his first ever standing start. So that could be fun.
Yes, lots to look forward to.
A lot of people around him that have done standing starts before, and there is a good look at one of them. Certainly this season, Rodrigo Baptista has been an absolute player in this championship, giving a wave to the camera there. They will all be led away by the Cadillac ATS-V safety car up at the very sharp end of things. And we're looking forward to this one getting underway. I want to remind everybody that we also have an invitational group. At the back, they'll have their own start. It's sort of a split start, is a number of the touring car division cars. They put on such an incredible race weekend at Lime Rock Park, especially their second race of that weekend.
One of the best races I've ever watched. That was remarkable.
Yeah, top 5 cars covered by a blanket, not a scratch on them, just phenomenal. And after that showing, they said, you know, we need to showcase that product a little bit here at Road America, the track big enough to handle it. For some of the drivers, it's a home race. For a lot of the drivers, it's the prestige race they want to be at, and so it's a pretty strong thing. So they are here as well. We're looking forward to it. We're going to pause for just a moment. When we come back up, we will be in our CBS Sports Network call. Stay with us. And the command has been given. This field is coming to life. As we said, 33 cars strong, ready for 50 minutes of racing action here at Road America, to be led away by a guy doing his first ever standing start, Austin Versteeg. Now that means they're going to have an installation lap, then they'll come up, assume their positions on the grid, and then they will be under the light system. And there you can see the back of those panels. It says wheeling on the back of the panels. On the front end of it are the lights. And when they go out, we go racing. There is the Cadillac ATS-V pace car and safety car as it makes its way away, bringing the field out on their installation lap. And of course, we will watch for as well the Cadillac Escalade, which is the beautiful and very effective emergency and medical vehicle that we have. There it is, as it's taking up position around the track as well. And Cal, now let's move into our Pirelli keys to the race. And I think first of all, it's got to be youth versus experience at the front.
Well, when you look at that front row, Austin Versteeg, 18 years old, alongside Rodrigo Baptista, he's only 20, and then you've got guys like Ian James and Lawson Archenbach lining up behind those guys. So who will have the advantage here today? We'll have to wait and see.
Speaking of Ian James, can he keep the sweep streak alive?
Amazing. Andrew Akolani, Nico Jamin, Jade Buford, Rodrigo Baptista, they've swept weekends. Can Ian James get his double here this weekend as well?
And I think especially here as we look at some of the touring cars coming out now, lessons learned from yesterday's race.
Very much in terms of tire degradation. We saw Baptista fade towards the second half of the race yesterday. He's got to really pace himself a little bit better today.
And then, of course, you've got the touring car traffic that these guys might eventually be getting into as well, and that certainly will complicate things.
For sure, for sure. You need that around here. Sometimes it's to your advantage in terms of creating a little bit of a block for some of the guys you're chasing, but if you're the leaders, you just got to get a rhythm and get through there as effectively as you can.
All right, so as the field's starting to try and scrub those tires clean and heat up those tires as much as they can here on a chilly day, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back to give you a look at some of the onboards you'll be enjoying and have the standing start of this 10th round of the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship at Road America. Well, while we're in pause for our CBS Sports Network show, we'll stay with you here for just a little bit. We'll pick it up in just a moment. But this is one of the cool areas here. That's overlooking Canada Corner. There is a new path here that you can take a golf cart, scooter, bicycle, whatever. Gives you the opportunity for the first time to be able to get back and actually see the kink, which is one of the legendary corners.
Well, the track has always been wonderful to race on, but they've just continued to make, oh, there's a spin here on the pace lap.
Yeah, Chris Beaufait and the number 45 racers at Sinar 1. And by rule, if you spin like that, you have to wait and then go to the back of the field or start in the pits. Now, I think he'd probably be allowed to start in front of the touring cars if he can get it going. If he stalled, we could have a delayed start.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of movement right now.
That might be this chilly, chilly day here.
Sure, it's a lot cooler.
And they've paved, they patched, I guess, some of the spots around the track. You see some dark pavement in spots. And just all these different changes now. It may have caught him out. I think we may have a look at it here for you. Watch it here, see what happens. There he is. Yeah,
he just loses it right in the middle of the corner. It wasn't sort of powered down even. He just sort of lost the tail end.
That looks like turn 8. You can see the worker right there telling the car to stay out just a little bit.
I wonder if there's some kind of mechanical rather than just a spin, because he's struggling to get life back in that car. Now he's communicating with the corner workers here.
And here comes the safety vehicle from Road America. That was actually up at the top of turn 6, which is very tricky in the best of conditions here. Is that 6 or 8? Well, both of them are tricky because 6 is an uphill and then suddenly flattening out braking zone, and 8 is another of the braking zones that falls away from you. So that means they are going to extend now. They're going to have to extend the installation lap one more lap. Well, they get this car moved, and he will probably at this stage, I'm pretty sure, if they can get him going, they'll have to start from the pit lane.
He might be good to go now.
Yeah.
I could hear a motor running.
Maybe he just just
this
couldn't
is
find
turn 5,
reverse.
I think. Is it? It's
He
hard to
just
say
couldn't
now.
find reverse.
It is turn 8.
So he is going to come around, and we'll have to see what they decide. He would either be allowed to take up position at the back of the field in front of the touring cars because it's a completely different category, or they'll direct him into pit lane and he'll have to start from pit lane. But the Cadillac ATS-V now is bringing the field up, and you can see those light stanchions there off to the left. There's a little red light on the back. The other side of it is a huge light panel, and the lights come on, and when they go out, there you see it, we will be racing here for 50 minutes at Road America. These are always a little bit of a heart in the throat moment. Just in general, these standing starts, they're exciting because you can have a car that gets a great launch from way back in the pack, is able to gain a number of positions, but if somebody stalls, it can be a bit catastrophic.
Yeah, and with this extra pace lap, that'll have an effect on the tire temperatures just a little bit. So got to be careful you don't bog it down. I mean, if the tires are cold, just getting grip through the corners on that initial lap will be a factor, but now we'll have a little bit more tire temp for that initial launch. These Caymans have launch control on them, so that could be to their advantage today.
I'm kind of curious here. I haven't heard anything from race control yet about taking some of the time away from it, but this is a track that's hard on fuel consumption anyway. If you're running it a little bit close, and now you get an extra 4 miles here, even though it's at a very reduced rate.
That's a huge factor. If you'd have to think they would have to start the clock, otherwise everyone's fuel calculations will go out of the window. Like you said, it's not like a mile and a half at line bar.
Exactly.
It's a solid 4 miles, and the last bit is uphill.
Underneath the Sargento Bridge, there's so many iconic landmarks here to go along with the legendary corners. This is the Moraine Sweep, as they call it. Some great names here at this track. Moraine Sweep down to turn 5, and from 6 down to 8, Hurry Downs. This is the corner that we've used as the braking zone for our CBS Sports show is turn 5, and I mean it's just mega because it's from huge speed, and right as you want to get on the brakes, gravity just falls away from you as you go down the hill.
What a great shot. It really highlights the sweep, the Moraine Sweep there. You kind of move from one side of the road to the other, just try straight lining it down to this brake zone.
We talked about a little bit yesterday in our stream for the 9th round of the championship, but we pulled into this place. What they've done here, it is just amazing. I mean, this is spectacular.
It's never looked better.
Yeah.
I mean, they just continue to improve the facility. The racetrack is just mega by itself, so that remains the same. But just the fan-friendly nature of the track, the trolleys, all of the activities around the circuit, and the track food.
Oh, yeah. The zip line whizzing above your head and everything. But, yeah, there you go. So they did say buffet has to come in and start from pit lane. But the track food here, I'm not sure it's the most healthy for you.
I think then the zip line
food
with the double brat was the way to go.
That was the way to do it, yeah. Hanging on with one hand. And absolutely. They have a thing here called the brat egger, which is a breakfast sandwich. It's sinfully good. Here's that tricky carousel, and this is...
see the marbles as well from the IndyCar event especially. You can see that rubber's been ground to the outside, so if you do get wide through here, it's already kind of challenging enough, so you got to be careful in these conditions.
Yeah, we actually saw one of the drivers in the IndyCar race going into the kink, shallowed up his entry, got onto those marbles, and just went straight off to the outside of the corner, so it's a little bit more treacherous even than usual.
Yeah, that's for sure. You just got to be on your toes, be focused. Just a glorious weekend. The weather was threatening with some showers and rain here, but looks like it should hold off to get through to the checkered flag here this afternoon.
That would be fantastic. So we're going to pause, and we'll be back up in just a minute here with our CBS Sports Network coverage. Welcome back to Road America, everybody. We are ready for a standing start here for our 10th round of the GTS Championship for the Pirelli World Challenge. Let's take a look here at our quad box featuring some remarkable views from our Replay XT cameras. We have a lot of them. Here's a sampling that you'll be able to enjoy, and they are going to provide some great views as this race unfolds. And the pace car, the Cadillac ATSV safety car, is in, and we are ready to go racing here in our Porsche race analysis. 33 cars, 4 miles, 14 counted corners. There's lots of little bobs and weaves. I think one of the key things here is cool. It's cool today.
It's really cool, and they've got this additional pace lap to generate a little bit more tire temp. Brand new Pirelli P0s for race 2. You can change your rubber from the first race, so they'll be trying to get some temp there, but all eyes are on this man, our Paul Silver, with his very first standing start.
Yeah, he was just stunning last year and somehow finishing second. We still can't figure that one out. Second in the Prototype Lights Championship with like 9 wins.
9 wins, 9 poles, 9 fastest laps, and he still didn't win the championship. That's unbelievable. Must have had some bad luck along the way.
Had to have the DNF or two that just cut him out. But then you've got Harry Gottsacker, who's missed a few rounds, has been over in Europe racing in that number 69 Janetta from Performance Motorsports Group. So here we go. You see the yellow lights on top of those lights boards are up. And that means we're getting ready to go into the start sequence. Well, this is just the moment you just love for this, the standing start in Pirelli World Challenge.
You want to wait to select that first gear. Don't want to be sitting there with the clutch in for too long.
You'll see a board go up just to the right of that light stanchion. That'll tell us we're into our final sequence. And then it's all about those lights. Rodrigo Baptista swept both of the most recent rounds at Lime Rock Park. Behind him, the points leader, Lawson Aschenbach, and that number 50 Panos, yesterday's winner. That's the stage is set, and Jeff Courtney, who is just a wicked quick spoiler whenever he is racing here. All right, here we go. 5 seconds. We are into the start sequence. There we go. Lights are on. When they go out, we go racing.
Stieg was creeping a little bit. Doesn't get a good start. Good start there by Baptista on the outside of the front row. Lawson Aschenbach goes with him. Look at Ian James from 5th on the grid. He's already up to 2nd.
And he's done it. He is 2nd. 3rd is Aschenbach. As they sweep down through turn 1. We're getting a report back in the touring car field. We may have had an incident. So we'll check on that for you. But meanwhile, here in this lead, what a start by James. And we were kind of joking when we were talking to him yesterday. We said, you know what works real well on standing starts? Torque. And boy, did it.
He does. He's got Lawson Aschenbach right on his tail. However, Versteeg is trying to recover here from a poor start. He started to creep a little bit. That probably got him off his game somewhat.
I think that's exactly right. Realized he was moving, tried to keep. Look at George Kurtz. He is just racy this weekend. Love to see it. Trying to go to the outside run. There's Clennon along with Markey. Those two have their incidents, and Clennon a big tank slapper.
Big save.
Coming out of 5, yeah.
There's Stacy down to the inside of Kurtz up into turn 6. Parker Chase in the middle of the battle right there.
Clennon, of course, running in the GTSA category. Take a look at the 89 up in front of him. Looks like we are full course caution, and it may well be for the incident in the touring cars. We'll have to update you on that, but we are full course caution at this stage, so everybody reining in the speed. Now let's take a look at the 111, and it's Cody Ellsworth, who again pole sitter winner for yesterday's race, and was right up near the front. Oh, look at that. He is out of the car and walking away from a win to nothing. In the 018 of Cameron Castles in the K-Sit Racing Porsche Cayman, also involved. What a shame. Now, of course, the 018, that's a GTS car. So we'll see. Watch if we see a stall somewhere, Cal. Yeah, there is.
Castles doesn't move. And I bet you Ellsworth just comes up on him at speed. Yeah, he does. And he gets punched by the BMW right behind him.
That's number 1 of Grahovic, the defending touring car champion. And that's the one downside of the standing start. You come up, you're sort of blind in terms of view when you're right behind another car, and then you see it and you make your choice, and sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't.
It's Castles, I believe.
Yeah, and he ended up in the gravel near the end of the race yesterday and now stopped early. That's a frustrating way for a weekend to play out. But there's the damage to the 111 of yesterday's touring car winner, Cody Ellsworth. And that's a real shame here. So we're going to be under caution for a while. You can see a little fluid dropping from the 111, the Racer Inc. Porsche. And this is going to take a little while for the cleanup. There's the Cadillac Escalade on the scene, helping the Road America safety team, which is absolutely the best, I think, in North America, bar none. Absolutely fantastic. So the field now coming up and working their way through. There is the fluid dripping. So we're going to have a little bit of a cleanup. So we're going to take an opportunity here to step away. Hopefully we'll come back and be ready for the green flag here at Road America. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody, to our stream as we're in a break for the CBS Sports Now. You got to look there. You can see a little bit of damage, and you called it, Cal, the #1 BMW for the touring car. Just tapped, it appeared, as he was trying to get around to the other side.
Well, you're all looking for a great start, so you're launching off the line there, and suddenly mid-pack you've got someone who's absolutely stationary. Ellsworth saw it, and let's see the #1 car, Grahovic, got into the back of him, and I think Ellsworth would have been into Castles anyway.
I think so too,
but he was just helped along the way as well.
Yeah, peeled that right front fender back a little bit like a can opener on the #1 classic BMW M235 IR, which is a mark that has stepped into the touring car category here this year, big time.
It's exploded.
Big numbers in there, and one of the reasons is because BMW is staunchly behind this particular mark. Yeah,
and they've sold 170 cars globally. The biggest market is here in North America, where they've sold about 50 cars. So it sort of dominates the field in numbers, but they've got a pretty good balance of performance. Everyone seems to be in with a shout of victory.
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers game here certainly favors the BMWs, but we've seen that Porsche on the pole. We've seen the Genesis Coupe actually be the quicker car. And a great story here, Nicholas Barbata, first ever time running in the Pirelli World Challenge. He's a solo champion and the like over the years, but had never been able to get into the racing game. He said they come from fairly humble beginnings in the Nissan GT Academy. He's actually a finalist. Gave him an opportunity to get into it here. And finally, he said it's been a dream to race in Pirelli World Challenge, and led most of the race yesterday until that late electrical issue and just shut down on him. Here's a look at the #40. You see Pesic and Francis Jr. on the car. They actually have two different drivers in the car for the weekend. James Pesic ran it yesterday, and they split the qualifying, and Ernie Francis, when he got in the car for qualifying, set the second quick time, but by rule, he had to start near the back of the pack because
they actually had a problem. There was a red flag during that qualifying session, and Ernie passed someone during the red flag, so that's why he got the penalty and got moved to the back.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have been allowed to start second anyway, because I think it's where you qualify. Then when it's a shared car, they split time because you go out with a fresh set of tires in the qualifying session. But yeah, then he got moved to the back for that infraction. So I have a feeling we're going to see Ernie Francis making some pretty fun moves.
He's always fun to watch when he's coming through the field. It should be dynamite.
Yeah, it's he and Nate Stacey are kind of cut from the same mold, and when they get behind the wheel of some horsepower cars, they are fun to watch, no question. And not exactly sure yet, listening to race control, to kind of get an idea as to how quick this one might get going. Now, of course, once we do go, it will be a rolling restart, and that means we'll be dealing with the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone and the like. There's a look at the 111, Cody Ellsworth, up on the back of the flatbed. So it certainly looks like, I mean, there wasn't really any damage to the 018. It just stalled, and that usually means maybe snapped a half shaft or something along those lines. Yeah.
I have to imagine otherwise he'd have driven off ultimately and got some life in it.
And as the field came around to complete the first lap, and now they're just doing this. This is not a red flag. They are just moving them through the pit lane instead of on the track where all those crews are. That's purely a safety move. George Kurtz, after all the action in that opening lap, Kurtz in 7th overall in the number 04 CrowdStrike Global Motorsports Group McLaren. Finds himself in the lead in the AM category. Drew Stavely was the guy that they had the shoving match up the hill with yesterday. Is
the
running
ultimate argy-bargy right there.
Yeah, that capital argy and bargy. So, and got a report from the pit lane, and Jeff that chatted with Cameron, and he said just didn't move. That was it. So, tough deal there. You see on that CrowdStrike McLaren there, right behind where the driver's name is, as it falls back, it says, "Thank you, Javi." And that is a gentleman who used to work with McLaren when these cars were having some serious turbo issues and problems. Javi was able to get that solved for the team, and it has allowed Kurtz to be an absolute front runner ever since. He's moved on from McLaren, but they said we'd just like to at least get a thank you out to him. So happy to do that. Here's the 47 of Keith Jensen, who had a rough day yesterday.
He was in the action, in the wars, let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Started with doing in the back of the car at turn 8, and then a little bit later in turn 1. And that one he had nothing he could do, as Parker Chase was trying to avoid Clennon, and he got into him. And so he's got a little bit different color nose on that machine, but I'll tell you, he was impressive in his pace, certainly in qualifying, but even after that first incident.
Well, he's going.
Yeah.
He was mixing up with the leaders even though he's a lap down.
Yeah, Fred Roberts, who is essentially the pole sitter in the GTS category, GTSA yesterday, when he came out of the pits after they looked at the back of the car, he was in front of Roberts, and Roberts could not figure out a way around him. Keith was really up on it. So I'm sure he's looking forward to having a little bit better run than he did yesterday. Listening in here to find out if and when we might be going back to green. Clock, of course, running down to 40 minutes and 30 seconds. So apparently that contact may have shifted that pit wall just a little bit. So they're trying to nudge that back into place. Last thing you want is a leading edge, as they call it, on a high-speed portion of that track, especially. All right. We just got word that they have cleared the front stretch, so we might be able to go back to green this time. Certainly that's what the stewards would like to do, because they're race fans.
That's right. And crew has had a long weekend, but they're still doing a great job. So Gale Forklift there, one of the track sponsors.
So key is watch the lights on the top of that Cadillac ATSV safety car. And we just got word from race control, green this time by. And generally those lights will flicker out right about the kink to let everybody know. So, and you can see as soon as the word goes out, we're going green, the scrubbing starts. And especially as you talked about, Cal, with all the racing we've had and some of the marbles that are down, they did the best job they could in the time allotted to clean it. But you really have to work hard to get those tires scrubbed up, don't you?
You do, and it's not so much generating tire temp, because that's very hard to do at such low speed, but you know, just getting them clean, getting the marbles off. Use the brake a little bit. You kind of use your right foot on the gas, put the left foot on the brake to try and generate some brake temperature that then goes up and through the uprights into the wheel, and that will build some tire temperature for you as well.
And here you'd kind of like to have a little bit of temp in the brakes when you get to some of these braking zones.
Yeah, that's for sure. Curious to see on this restart what Baptista can do to hold off Ian James.
Yeah.
Certainly Ian James and the McLarens yesterday had the best trap speeds. Baptista, the Cayman gets there eventually, but as the middle is getting there is the problem. It takes a long time to wind up.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, too, is that in that VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone, what they say is once the pace car makes its move and gets away, when you enter the zone, you can roll into the throttle. No brake checking and manipulating, but you can roll into it. And it all really is going to come down to, I think, if Baptista can time it right to surprise Panos. And that Panos of James. Lights out on the safety car. So we're going to pause for just a second. When we come back, we'll be with our CBS Sports Network coverage. Welcome back to Road America as the field coming up out of turn 14, looking to go back to green flag. And Rodrigo Baptista in the Porsche, he rolled into the throttle in the VP Racing Fuels acceleration zone, but it didn't fool Ian James. Youth versus experience, and it's going to show down into turn 1.
It is, and I bet Baptista's going to take this Cayman in really deep. He's going to hold the inside line. Ian will just try and set him out, run the wide arc, try and work on exit speed.
That's exactly what he did. Baptista realized that's what might be happening, moved over to the left, and James trying to come up along the shoulder. He's got another long run here, but for Ian James, he looks in his mirror and he sees Aschenbach.
He does. He's got to be careful. He's looking ahead and looking in those rear-view mirrors as well. He's got to run on him. And this is the middle of the straightaway. That's where that Panos and the torque really excels. He's got the lead now. Oschenbach will now try and find a way into the brake zone for turn 5. See if he can take that second spot away.
It's impressive how well that Panos is working in the brake zones as well as the handling well on the straights.
It's really stable. They've really done a great job in a short period of time of developing that car to the point it's now a race winner in very short order.
And Lawson Oschenbach coming in after doing what he seems to do this year. 1 podium and 2 finish ahead of his full season competitors and expanded that points lead out here. Looking a little racy here in the early going down to the inside. Got the nose there, but was very aware of where Baptista was, did not want to have any contact.
The nice thing for that Camaro is very compliant on the curves, but he realized if he needed to, he could probably tighten up a little bit more, use a bit of the curb and not have a big issue, but he's certainly aggressive again. The Camaro, its weight is a problem on the long runs, but in the early going, that gets those tires temps up a little bit quicker.
And the Panos drawing away with Ian James in this battle. Courtney right there in 4th in the Ken Direct stuff Maserati. And this is a home track. He lives in Milwaukee. This race means everything to him. And he has had some awfully impressive runs here in the past. And one of them was yesterday. And look at this. Baptista defending big time as Oschenbach got a nice run. Now Baptista floats a little wide. Oschenbach squares up underneath. They're side by side into Billy Mitchell.
Youth versus experience right here. Who's going to come out on top? Baptista doesn't want to give it away. But again, great racecraft there by Lawson. He gets the inside for turn 14. Courtney's right there as well.
Boy, Courtney wanted to come up the inside and follow Lawson through. Realized Baptista was going to come across. And then right behind this group is the leader in GTSA, the 04 of Kurtz, who is having a superb run here in this race in the early going. But now it is Oschenbach second, Baptista third, and Courtney in 4th. Kurtz 5th overall, leading in GTA.
Look at that McLaren. He's got speed.
Boy,
He's make a move on Courtney.
And they settle as they head through turn number 1 down the hill into 2. And we're going to drop back a little bit. Look for that green and black Flying Lizard Porsche, the number 14. That currently sits in the 8th spot overall, 7th in the GTS category. That's Nate Stacy. And he is your Optima Batteries best standing start winner, up 5 spots in that opening lap from the standing start. So congratulations to young Nate Stacy, who we've seen him with driving the big Mustangs and the like in the past has been just spectacular. This is a little different ride for him, and he's really starting to come to grips with it.
Yeah, talking to his team this morning, Jim Bell, the engineer, said he's getting there. He's getting there. He's putting good sectors together in terms of the racetrack. He's just got to make it all click. He's got Terry Borchella, a veteran driver, sports car champion, working in with him as a coach. And he's learning fast, but I think this has been an eye-opener for him this season.
Yeah, it really has. It's pretty stout competition. Now let's go back and take a look at that great pass for second that Oschenbach laid on Baptista.
Yeah, Baptista was just fighting hard going into Canada there. He took a really shallow angle, gets out wide on the curbing, doesn't want to give it up. Then they go side by side through Billy Mitchell. Lawson Oschenbach hangs tough on the outside, and then he's got the inside run towards turn 14 in the brake zone.
And right here, look at Courtney as he thought, I'm going to try and duck in and follow Oschenbach through. Got close, but couldn't quite make it work and just drifted back out of it here. Probably that's that experience thing going, yeah, we don't want to get damage here in the early going as we still have a lot of race yet to unfold.
We do. So the two veterans up front right now. Baptista continues to hang on to that 3rd spot. Courtney putting the pressure on. Here comes Versteeg. That's Versteeg down to the inside of Gottsacker. That is for position. So the pole sitter is now starting to come alive. He said it. He said it's going to take some time to get some temperature into these tires like yesterday.
And he said it, didn't he, at the start? He said it just takes a little bit of time. And now he's trying to wind it up just a little bit, coming after George Kurtz. As they come up the hill, there's a look at Lawson Oschenbach. There is a look at the number 50 Panos. And that car is carrying our iBox suspension cam as well. So Ian James, as he hustles down the straight heading into turn 1, take a look at that suspension working as it sets up for a very high-speed corner.
Yeah, they've got that car dialed in this weekend. As you can see, the iBox suspension working. So a little bit of debris flying there. I think that was from the inside line as Baptista came up that front straightaway hard on the right-hand side. He's allowed to do that as long as he's not reacting to the moves from behind.
All right, so it is James leading now by just a little over a second on Oschenbach, who has about the same margin. Back to Baptista. Courtney 4th, and leading still in the AM category 5th overall, it is George Kurtz in the McLaren. We're going to take a brief break. We will be right back with more from the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix at Road America, presented by VP Racing Fuels. with you here on our webcast right now. And boy, this is kind of a repeat in a way. It was just one more position back today of what we saw with Courtney when he was hounding Aschenbach. He just now is settled in behind, and is you think he's got to be studying Baptista.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to get a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I know it's you don't want to take anyone out, but I think he's got the pace in the car. He doesn't want to get stymied for so long that the leaders get away from him.
Yeah, and they are doing that. Aschenbach, fast lap, last lap, at a 2:19 flat.
Yeah, it's way quicker than anyone else. Clear 7/10 over the field.
Yeah, he made up a bit of a chunk on Ian James. And I wonder if he was thinking the same thing. I need to take a little bit back of what James had built up if I want to have maybe a shot at getting my first win.
Yeah, for sure. And this would be a big one. Home track for the team, Black Dog. Speed shop based down in the Chicago area. A lot of guests here this weekend supporting them.
And behind this group, there is a tidy little battle that's going on. There's Kurtz leading an AM in the 5th spot. Right behind the Maserati here. Here he comes over the brow. Behind him is Versteeg, who started the weekend as a GTSA driver for about, what, 6-7 minutes. And then they went, oh, boy, no, we gotta move this guy up. And that's your pole sitter, keep in mind. And as you said, Cal, didn't get a great start, fell back a little bit, has now worked his way back up into 6th. He and Gottsacker swapped that position a couple of times just down the front straight, and then a little bit later on in the lap. And that's the straight line speed versus the handling. And now with him able to lead into turn 1, you think he might be able to gap Gottsacker a little bit.
Yeah, you think so. There's some real ebb and flow to the racetrack in terms of the balance of performance with these cars. The pole sitter, Austin Versteeg, talked about it. He said, it's something I've got to get used to. He's used to running in spec series where everyone has the same machinery.
Yeah, this is a whole new ball game for him at this stage, and he's doing a very stout job at it. Welcome back to Road America, and as we said, in this race there is also a touring car invitational field, and they are putting on another spectacular battle. Right now, the number 91 of Nick Whitmer leading in the touring cars in his ST Racing, that blue BMW. Right behind him, he's got the number, I believe that's the 18, that is the Zima BMW of Sajik, having a really, really solid run. But look at how close they're running behind him.
Yeah, the Genesis kind of walked away from these guys a little bit in the early going yesterday, but the BMWs have got tuned up overnight. A lot more racier today.
Well, and I kind of think Nick Whitmer is a guy that when it's a low grip condition, the guy is just unbelievable with his car control. And I think in these cool conditions, that might be exactly what's paying off for Nick Whitmer right now, is the car control and being able to read the circuit. Meanwhile, Jeff Leppard down in pit lane, what are you hearing from there, Jeff?
Talk about those Genesis coupes from Jeff Rica and Bob Rero. They led most of the race yesterday. Of course, Jeff Rica had that suspension failure, but Barbado unfortunately ran out of gas. So their job today is to stay behind the BMWs, draft as much as you can, roll through the corners, save fuel so you can last all 50 minutes.
He's doing a nice job of that, and just watched him also carrying a large amount of speed through the kink as he got all the way to the edge of that exit curve. This young man is willing to really push the limits. Barbados is a complete rookie in Pirelli World Challenge competition of any kind. We go back to the front at this stage. And boy, I'll tell you, the Panos and the Camaro looking like they're willing to make a break here. But Baptista cannot shake Courtney.
Now, Courtney's keeping the pressure on. Ian James, a couple of laps ago, laid down the fastest race lap so far, 2:19.022. Which took it away from Aschenbach by just a few hundreds, so they've certainly got some pace. Now, side by side, Baptista holding the middle of the road. Yeah, again, that Maserati, Greg, does not have the ABS control that the other cars do, so that will certainly make Courtney think about making an inside move. He certainly doesn't want to get a flat spot, but it looks like he's got a bit more pace than the Cayman right now, and the leaders are getting away from him.
Yeah, he's not going to want to wait too long. As you pointed out, behind him, Versteeg has gone around Gottsacker and Kurtz and is now 5th as well. And we would think now that he's in clear track, Cal, there it is, the number 13 Ansel Motorsports Crossbow. That car should just fly.
Yeah, he just needs to get a little bit of a gap so he's not having to defend and compromise his lap time. He's got that right now, so he should be able to get into a rhythm and really run the same sort of laps like he did yesterday, which was faster than anyone else.
Here he is, just feeding it through the carousel, and like we said, the car's lightweight. It's cooler today than it was yesterday, so it's going to take him even a little bit longer to get those tire temps up, but it looks like he may have finally hit it here.
Yeah, he's got that buffer that he needs.
Yep.
When he's having to defend with the faster cars coming up on him on the straightaways, that hurts his lap time. Now he's found the gap, get into a groove. I think he can chase down these guys who are battling out for third.
And just to draw your attention to it, the last car coming at you here, we just kind of cut away as he goes through right there, that number 50. That's the PF Racing Mustang in the hands of Ernie Francis, already into the top 10 overall. Ernie, too, is flying around this track right now, running significantly quicker than anybody else around him at this stage.
Yeah, clear second of that pack right in front of him. He's running 2:19.2, just a couple of tenths off the leader. So Ernie Francis has really got some speed in that Mustang. We're understanding that's about to get its full GT4 homologation. There's some issues with the oil tank as we see Baptista defending down this front straightaway once again.
Yeah, I just saw up the hill. I saw them side by side on the run. Was wondering, was this the moment when Courtney was able to do it? He was so good into turn 1 in round 9 yesterday, but not able to get it done this time.
Well, I think Baptista just doesn't want to run afoul of reacting to the guy behind you, so he knows that he's got a deficit there, so he takes that line immediately. This is a much tougher situation here. Positioning the car, making the move first. He's forcing Courtney to go to the right, which is not the ideal spot to try and make a move down into turn 5. What Courtney needs to do is right there, flick back to the inside, but he gives it up a little bit.
Now is he trying to set up some sort of a run up the hill? It's tough to get any kind of a pass done up into turn 6. You need to be alongside about the exit of 5 to make that work. Let's see if he's able to do anything here. This great section of track called Hurry Downs. This turn 7, off camber, falling down the hill.
It's tricky. You really got to get into the groove right at apex. If you're wide of that, there's really no grip. You lose grip there. Courtney probing. He's looking for a way through here down into turn 8.
Wants to pick the throttle up, maybe get to the inside here into the carousel. Can't do it as Baptista right where he wants to go here. We've seen a variety of different lines through this this corner here this weekend. Some people just keep it real tight to the inside all the way. Others let it really float out, kind of diamond the corner a little bit.
Yeah, and if you float it out, you've got to be careful with those marbles out there on the cushion, as we call it. You don't get into those, otherwise you just will not get it turned back to the racing line.
Going back a little bit farther, we heard that the number 47 of Keith Jensen, the NOLA Sport Porsche, had a bit of a moment here. He's back in the battle right now with the number 80 of Martin Barkey, who just has not been able to get things figured out here this weekend. He loves this track, and he certainly was quick in practice and qualifying.
Big surprise. He had it off yesterday, and he was one of the guys we thought, well, can Oschenbach's lead be cut into? We thought, well, maybe a Barkey could sweep the weekend, and he's shown the pace to do that this year, but not the weekend he needed.
Oh, and have a look at this. Nate Stacy, the young man, has picked up a spot, gone around Harry Gottsacker. So now Stacy 7th overall, 6th in the GTS category, but it's not a super comfortable spot right now. Gottsacker right in his draft, and behind Gottsacker sits the number 12 of Stavely as well. And look at this move. Well, we said that Courtney is so strong into turn 1, just swept around the outside, and look who's hunting right behind him.
Yeah, Versteeg has caught these guys in a hurry, so I think that forced the issue for Courtney. He's got to get by, otherwise Versteeg was going to get by him.
And notice on the right front of Versteeg's car, one of those little support arms has popped loose. We saw another one of those cars earlier in the season. Both of them popped up and we're up there. Now you can see it bouncing in the air. Doesn't seem to affect performance all that much. Oh, Baptista thinking about a counter move. But boy, I'll tell you, the front end of that car really pogoing a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, we saw with Anthony Mantello. I think he lost both sides at a recent event in terms of those little wings they become almost with that front hood.
Yeah, they turn into eyebrows, don't they? All right, so Versteeg getting set to try and attack. We're going to take a quick moment. We will come back, cover the action for you here at Road America. And he's through. Pause for just a second. Now, can Baptista do the counter move? He might just be able to get this done. Oh, they're side by side through the carousel, and Baptista said, yeah, probably not the spot to be right there.
Yeah, Versteeg has hit the sweet spot with the setup. He's really quick right now.
All right, so Versteeg will now set sail after Jeff Courtney, and that would be a podium spot. Well, Courtney had sized him up, and as we had said, we knew he was really good in one, but I think you're right. He was well aware of what was happening behind him, wasn't he?
He was, and Versteeg set the fastest race lap in that chase of Courtney and company, so he's flying. But they've allowed it a little bit too late. They've got a lot of work to do. Just past the halfway point in the race, just over 20 minutes on the board. Interesting to see if Courtney and Versteeg, if he can get around him, chase down the leaders.
We're going to watch this great jury car battle. We may just have a change in the lead. Yep. Look at that as the 18 of Sajik ducks underneath the 91 of Whitmer. And as he does so, we get the call, full course caution. Not exactly sure what for at this stage. And oh no, Courtney. Boy, that is a significant off. Is that down into the runoff at turn 14? Is the report we're getting.
Well, you have those bumps there on the entry, Greg, and he was pushing hard. Let's see if we can find a replay of it, but he's into the barriers hard. Wonder if Versteeg might try to make a move to the inside and touched him.
Oh boy,
just conjecture at this point, but
absolutely,
he's a long way off the road.
Yeah, and he went in at pace, obviously, and those tires doing their job as the Cadillac Escalade comes on the scene.
And that's the thing with the different cars. They have such different dynamics. That little crossbow can really go in places that the others can't.
That means it can surprise you a little bit. All right, we think we may have found the replay for you. Watch for it here in the back.
Oh, no, he just loses it by himself. There's Versteeg. He wasn't close to him at all. So he just looked like he got a little bit wide there. There's bumps there. As he went to turn in, just lost the rear. Don't see Jeff Courtney make many mistakes.
No, you
so
sure don't.
Sure if something was amiss with the car.
No, he's still got fire in the car. He's just saw the wheel spin. He's trying to get out, but he's just way too embedded at this stage. And basically, as he came out of the Billy Mitchell turn, it looked like he probably got on those bumps, and the car just gave a big wiggle and then snapped on him suddenly.
Well, you try and set up, you try and get as wide as you can to get the best angle onto the front straightaway, but if you're out there wide and you suddenly hit the bump right at the moment you're turning in, got to be careful. And it's a tricky one with your vision too, Greg, because you're looking through the apex, but you're trying to feel the very edge of the road there at turn-in.
And they got one of the official vehicles there, and the problem is you don't want the vehicle to get stuck in the gravel. Nice job. Now the question is the damage. That left front looks broken, doesn't it? No, maybe not. Race control right now is instructing the ATSV safety car to slow the speed down a little bit, as we are at 18 minutes left in this one, so I'd like to get back to green as fast as possible.
When we think about our keys to victory, youth versus experience. Well, it's experience up front right now. James, the 5th sweep of the year. Well, he's on target for that. And the lessons learned. Certainly saw Versteeg yesterday drop back early, and now he's got some pace. And if he can just keep some tire temperature in that car under this safety car period, he could be a factor for the leaders. He's certainly got pace to do it.
He does, and I'll tell you what, he had a 6-second deficit to Aschenbach that has just evaporated with this caution. And I think the key is as you said, those tire temps, because those two cars up front will get those tires up to temp a lot quicker.
You probably maintain more tire temp than you had at the initial start, so he won't be starting at the same starting point, but even so.
Now it is done. So apparently he has checked it and said, yep, it's broken. So Jeff Courtney, all the fans here, he's been a fan favorite here for many years in that Kenda Wreck Stuff, whatever it is. He's always got those two sponsors on it. He's driven a lot of different cars here with those two great supporters on the side of it here, and the crowd has really come to appreciate Jeff Courtney's commitment to racing in general, and certainly here at his favorite and home track, Road America. So good to see him out and okay. Sad to see that car, which has shown some good speed again. It's just a matter of getting him on the hook and hauled into a safe spot. Hopefully we can get back to racing here. They're, again, trying to slow the field down a little bit to try and get this lap going. And there are, I mean, if they can get across track and just up into pit lane, it's all go.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. The good news is you have a long lap to get it done. The bad news is if you just miss it, we eat a lot of the clock up with one additional safety lap.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, let's take another look at the incident here. And as we said, Courtney had been so fast, comes out of Billy Mitchell and just suddenly goes on him.
Yeah, he's just very wide there at entry. There's a lot of bumps there as you're trying to set up for that corner at turn in. And he just loses the back end. Gravel trap slows him down a lot, but he still has a pretty hard impact with that tire wall.
That's a corner that you carry a lot of speed into. It's not that tight, and it leads onto that not only long straight, but it's a huge climb up that hill.
Yeah, you're kind of floating entry. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a big compression on the brakes. You kind of slow it down, then you turn in and roll speed. And there's a lot of bumps there. Just unsettled the car a little bit and caught him out.
So that's why we are under full course caution here at Road America. And they finally have Jeff Courtney out of the gravel at turn 14 and making the way across track. We look forward to going green here in just a second. We think we might be going back to green this time, folks, so we're going to pause here on the web. We'll be back with you for our CBS Sports Network call in just a minute. And we do have confirmation, folks. We'll be going green this time by. Welcome back, everybody. We are going green this time by, but real quick, let's check into the pit lane with Jeff Lepper with Jeff Courtney.
Well, Jeff Courtney, any indication about what happened there?
I think it's just frustration, and I was going into today with all or nothing attitude. Got a little frustrated there chasing around because it's the same old thing on the straightaways for us, so I think I overcooked the left front tire, and once I got by him and I knew the KTM was coming, I got to time what was left in the race, and I wanted to put my head down, and I overcharged, and that was the end of it. So it's all on me, but frustrating day.
Very frustrating, of course, at his home race.
Yeah, it means a lot to him, and now he has to watch as the green flag flies, and the number 50 of Ian James leads away once again with Lawson Aschenbach and the number 10 Camaro behind him.
Look at Kurtz.
Yeah.
McLaren has some straightaway. He gets inside for Stieg. Nate Stacey tries to go with him.
Boy, and that is what Baptista wanted to see happen, was to see somebody get around the flying Versteeg.
Here comes Ernie Francis Jr. on the run down to turn 3.
Boy, that's going to help him. He was 8th at the restart after starting dead last on the field, save for the touring cars, obviously. And he is on a charge now. Here comes Nate Stacey as he's going to get a run and maybe get by Versteeg.
Yeah, that crossbow just doesn't have the straightaway speed of the others, but he certainly has the braking performance. Lawson Aschenbach looks racy, looking for his first victory of the year, our championship leader.
Now Clennon on Versteeg as well, down into 5. Keith Jensen in the NOLA Sport car way down to the inside of the 12. That white Jeanette of Drew Stavely, they get that one to work. And Ernie Francis on the climb out of 5 has gone around Versteeg. So I guess we answered our question about tire temps.
Yeah, he said, well, there's a little bit difference with the BOP running against different makes. Here comes Ernie Francis, a big run on Glennon there, had to take evasive action. Looked like Glennon had a problem there.
Yeah, it did.
Jensen down to the inside. That's where he had the spin yesterday early in the going.
I thought that one might end in tears, but everybody suddenly figured out where everybody was and made it work. But boy, Ernie Francis, what a great restart lap as they now work through the carousel. And it looks like Aschenbach up front taking a run at the number 50 of Ian James through the kink.
Aschenbach feels it. It's been a long time since he's been in victory lane. He wants it here today in front of his home crowd for the team.
Well, and for him, he generally finds himself having to manage tires. Well, that long caution at the start with the wreck, and then this one, that's probably got some pretty fresh Pirelli P0s on that one. Now, also the same story for Baptista right on his 6.
Yeah, he's had a refresh as well. He's suddenly come to life again.
Coming up on 10 minutes remaining. Look at the different lines they're using.
Lawson there just setting it up. That Camaro's working really well. They dropped the front ride height on that car dramatically at Lime Rock Park. They've been interpreting. Oh, look at that battle there. Gottsaka really close there, coming off of 14 with Versteeg.
Boy, and that's Barkey now trying to come up the inside of Versteeg too. Oh, and there is Frankenette, who gets it turned around and gets it corrected and will be able to continue. That's part of that new Ian Lacey racing program he shares with the number 12 of Drew Stavely, excuse me. So here we go. Oh, and here comes, look at this, Ernie Francis and Nate Stacy having a side-by-side battle, and Francis around the outside.
Yeah, Ernie Francis has some pace here today. Will he have enough time to catch that lead battle?
Down this long moraine sweep heading into turn 5. There's the margin. That's the margin. 5th now for Ernie Francis. What a race he has put together here.
Look at the jockey for position down the moraine sweep there, further back in the pack. Great racing right now.
And an impressive run, I have to say it again, for George Kurtz in that 04 Crouch Strike, that white and red McLaren from Global Motorsports Group, sitting in a 4th overall spot right now. And then comes Francis, then Stacy, then 2nd in the AM category is that orange McLaren of Mark Glennon. Going back a little bit farther in the pack at this stage, the 19 of Parker Chase and the 12 of Stavely having a battle. That's for 11th and 12th. And he had some contact back there. Then the 11 of Tony Gaples came in here as the leader this weekend in the GTSA points. Pretty good run yesterday, but he's back farther than he'd like to be today.
Yeah, they have about 80 guests here this weekend supporting that group. Cheering on Lawson Aschenbach and Tony Gaples. Great job by George Kurtz, running so quick here. Boy, this is the high-speed section, Greg.
Yeah, Jensen in the background, that NOLA Sport portion, dropped his left tires.
Comes Versteeg down to the inside on Gottsaka.
Gottsaka not giving it up, trying to keep that inside, and he does, sets him up for Billy Mitchell.
That accelerates him off Canada corner. Nate Stacy's gapped these guys now.
Boy, and that's what he needed to do here. And for Austin Versteeg, oh boy, that is a big hit. Looks like the 38. That's one of our touring cars, certainly.
I think a Samantha Tan,
yeah,
possibly.
Samantha Tan, and we have a full course caution immediately thrown here. This will be our 3rd one.
The kink.
Boy, it sure looks like it might be here. And we could see cars in the background kind of weaving through some debris. So a substantial hit, and she brings it to a stop. So under our 3rd full course caution, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll come back and sort it out for you here at Road America. While we're with you here on the web, confirmation from Race Control was indeed the kink.
It's a big hit.
Yeah, it is. And looking at the scoring at the time, she was running in the
29th position.
29th overall. Yeah, exactly. So was back about 7th or 8th in the touring car field. And big step for Samantha in the team this year is she had run with part of another team in the past, and they decided to establish their own team, and they did it with enough. It's
a big one.
Yeah, it sure is. With enough real optimism and the like that they were able to attract Nick Whitmer to leave the Honda Sun Rose team that he had run with and come over and join their team in the ST Racing entry, they call it. So apparently, yep, we just got confirmation. Red flag has been thrown, and there's a significant debris field there, obviously, and as well.
I think what we're trying to do is just protect the race, see if we can get back to green flag racing. Most importantly, is she okay?
Yeah, and they just called. They said there's no way we can get this cleaned up here in time to hit our time limit. And so they have now just said checker flag will come out. So you hate to have a race end that way. Welcome back, everybody, as we are now officially under a red flag here at Road America for this 10th round of the Pirelli World Challenge GTS Championship. And as you can see, there is a huge debris field, and the stewards have quickly, and I think correctly, ascertained that there's no way to get this cleaned up within the remaining track time, so they threw the red flag to make sure the cars, as they came through this area, were slow and could get around and get this field back up onto the front straight, and just decided to throw the checker early. And I think that was probably a wise move at this stage, and just trying to get the field cleanly through this area so that the rest of the Road America safety team can get to work.
Yeah, I think the main priority is allowing that full medical team to go to work, make sure Samantha is okay. And with the time on the clock, basically means the race is effectively over, and Ian James will sweep the weekend. That was one of our keys to victory. Youth versus experience, they all come out on top. The experience of Ian James and Lawson Oschenbach, but this is not the way we want to see the action end to this weekend.
Yeah, never want to see. Let's take a look at what happened here, Cal, and obviously looked like the exit of the kink.
Yeah, she's just out wide a little bit, then goes for a ride, tries to control it. You can see the speed that she's carrying, then massive impact over to the right-hand side. Hood is up. She's got no vision at this point. She's just along for the ride, and then comes to a rest on the left side.
And
just such a high-speed section, Greg. She just looked like she dropped the left side wheels, exiting the kink.
And the good news was there wasn't a lot of traffic behind her that, as she came back across, could have got involved as well. And it is absolutely standard procedure whenever there is any kind of contact with a barrier, let alone some high-speed contact. You get a ride into the medical center for a quick check, and that's why the ambulance immediately on scene here, just because of any kind of barrier contact. And as we suspected, the checker flag is out, but because if they didn't pit, they'd have to go around and go through that debris field once again. They're just bringing them immediately down into pit lane, Cal. And as you said, that is going to be the end of this 10th round of the championship. And Ian James gets to sweep. Lawson Oschenbach, podium again.
Podium.
What is that, 9 and 10?
That's right, increases his championship lead.
And let's talk quickly about George Kurt. What a run, 4th overall.
That's amazing, yeah. In the AM division, GTSA winner for the day.
Yeah, really, really impressive stuff here. And then in touring car, we saw the number 18 of Sajak at one point get the lead, but Whitmer may have gone back around and picked that lead up as well. So we'll have to see how it shows here. And oftentimes what can happen, Cal, when they throw a red, they automatically revert to the last completed lap anyway. So that may have made really what they were just doing somewhat academic. And that would mean that Whitmer would probably be shown in the lead, because I think Sajak got that lead after that happened. So there is Nick Whitmer. If that name sounds familiar, if you've been a Pirelli World Challenge fan for a lot of years, yes, that is one of the Whitmer brothers, younger brother of Kuno Whitmer. And there is Ian James for the second straight day, Cal. First into victory circle, and as that helmet comes off, they're going to celebrate a sweep of the weekend. It's just amazing how this season is a fifth event sweep of the
really got
doubleheaders.
that car dialed in. Congratulations from Tom Milner there, the team boss.
So I think we're going to head down to Jeff Lepper, and they had a heck of a party, I'm sure, last night, Jeff, and they're going to do it again tonight.
Well, Ian James, I'm sure it's not the way you wanted to finish the race, but still recovering from the party from the win yesterday, but able to get the sweep here this weekend.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you get to a track and the car just loves that track, you know, and it's one of my favorite tracks, and the whole panels organization and everybody that built the car, anybody involved in the car, it's just it's a real pleasure to work with them. Thank you, Dr. Panos, for making it happen, and roll on Mid-Ohio.
Tell us about the pressure you got back from the Camaro.
Yeah, I mean, Lawson was there the whole time. You know, I had to stay on my toes. Luckily enough, he had to deal with a few other cars on his tail, but he was there, so there was no resting today or yesterday, so he's a good guy to race against, but I'm glad I beat him.
Well, Ian James in Panos takes the sweep here at Road America.
Yeah, and for the fifth time this year, an event doubleheader weekend has been swept by the same driver-car combination. And for Ian James, this is just great to see. And he is absolutely right. When he makes a big thank you to Dr. Don Panos, he really has done more perhaps than an awful lot of people for sports car racing in Road America. And great to see them back on top of things here. And again, Aschenbach second, really doing what he needs to do in terms of the points. Baptista right there in third. And then the remarkable George Kurtz coming home fourth overall in that GMG CrowdStrike. And by the way, he was just named by the Silicon Valley organization that he is the Entrepreneur of the Year with his CrowdStrike technology. Pretty impressive stuff. There's a look at the number 14 of Nate Stacy, and he is our VP Racing Fuels Hard Charger Award winner to go with his best start. Standing Start Award win, up 6 spots overall as the race unfolded. So congratulations to the guy we've been calling the young phenom over the last few years. Number 14, Nate Stacy, getting it done once again. So pretty impressive run for him. And right in front of you see that number 40 of Ernie Francis. Boy, I'll tell you, coming from dead last on the GTS field up into an eventual 6th spot. Ernie Francis is showing what he's about.
I think if we hadn't lost so much of the race clock today, could have been even more of a factor for a podium run for sure. Had the pace.
And behind him, you see the number 14 is the 62 of Mark Clennon, second place in the GTSA category in his tender belly pork products. Clennon Performance McLaren, the number 62. Nice job for him. And then third, and I'm sure he'll be pleased with this after the rough day he had yesterday, will be the number 47 NOLA Sport machine of Keith Jensen. But right now, let's get right back down to Jeff Lepper.
Well, here with George Kurtz, double race win on the weekend for you. What a great job, and that was including 2 red-eye flights back and forth to California for that great award Greg talked about.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, to be able to come here, one of my favorite tracks, win twice, fly back to California, win an award. I mean, it was just all about winning. So I'm so grateful to be here. Great car with CrowdStrike and GMG, and it was really a fantastic race.
I know you guys are ready to party, but you got ready to sleep too?
I'm ready to sleep. I didn't have a lot of sleep this weekend, but it was well worth it, and the crew did a great job putting the car back together and getting it ready for today.
Congratulations on your race win. Nick Whitmer sitting right over here too as well, our touring car winner. Nick in that GPI BMW. Congratulations on that race win. Man, you battled all race long with Sajak. How were you able to get that win?
Oh, man, yesterday we had a great battle with the Porsche, and today, too bad it happened to Ellsworth, but the same battle with another BMW. It was a crazy battle. I don't know, I'm speechless. It was great win here. It's our first win of the year. I'm just very sad for Samantha. She hit that wall really hard. I analyzed it on the track, and the way it looks like, I'd rather do another flip than what she went through.
Well, that's definitely some proud moments and some sad moments down here on pit lane, but congratulations to Nick Whitmer, race winner today in TC.
Yeah, absolutely. The teammates to Samantha Tan, so that's some good news for that team. And when he talked about the flip, that was at VIR, and he had a biggie there making a pass heading into the roller coaster, and that's exactly what it became for him. So there you have it, folks, on our global web stream. Our winner, Ian James. Just a great story there with Aschenbach and Baptista completing the GTS podium. In GTSA, Kurtz over Clennon, and the 47 of Keith Jensen for NOLA Sport. And in the touring cars, the number 91 of Whitmer, the number 18 of Sajak, and after the issue he had yesterday, the number 75 of Nicholas Barbato. At least he comes away from his dream come true weekend racing in Pirelli World Challenge with a podium. So thanks everybody for joining us. Do remember, next round of the Pirelli World Challenge GTS and GT Championships will be at the end of July at Mid-Ohio. Not that far away. Come on over and join us, won't you?